As khuluma kakhulu ngendaba yokuthi umuntu kumele azazi aphinde futhi akwazi ukuxhumana namandla akhe ayithalente lakhe elakhelwe ngakuye ngaphakathi. See, your spirit body is designed as a temple, they say. I think that's the best way to define it, because there's a central dimension to your spirit body where it is like a throne room. But there are many other dimensions in your spirit body that form part of your entire spirit body. As you have different dimensions of your physical body that form part to make your physical body. You have more organs, you have this, you have that, you have all these kind of things. There are different aspects, different parts of your body that come together to make one physical body. Kanjalo with the spirit body, it is designed in a very temple form. And with this temple form, you have many different rooms where your things go. Now, it's very important to cleanse your temple. Those people who have the gift of seeing, they need to be able to look within and see their temples that are within, realizing that most of you have tenants. See, there are different types of demonic possession that we talk about. We learn to patwa imimoya, because you are struggling with amatlosomes, and most of those things are just demons, actually. So there are parts where these things go into, and what causes that is because of your own corruption. When you are spiritually corrupt, it means that you have surrendered the keys to particular rooms in your temple. So we have spirits that occupy certain. We are renters, our landlord. That's all it is. Now, how do you cleanse your temple? How do you get rid of imimoya engasi? Because it becomes so vital. You know, some of you have very strange behaviors because you are possessed by certain entities. It's behaviors that you can't stop. So it's important for a person now to look into what sort of things, what sort of behavior patterns am I finding difficulty decoupling from and working away from changing. And once you understand those certain behaviors that you have difficulty behaving, especially the negative ones, and those you may not be understanding to be negative, but you should not be addicted to anything really. So you look at those things and find, oh well, I'm addicted to this thing. That means I have a particular spirit that is occupying there, causing me to be repetitive. Because you see, it works for that spirit for you to be repetitive in that particular behavior pattern, because you generate certain quality energy that they desire. Low vibration, we talk about people who vibrate very low. It's very true. Some of you are just vibrating low every day, and the energy that you put out is very negative, and that allows certain entities to occupy your spirit body, your temple. It is within. So it's important then to learn the things that you are addicted to and work to change them. It's not a passive thing that one has to do. It's an active process. Find out your addictions. Shama solutions, man. Find out your addictions and fight them out. Realize that they come from within. Go inside and discover what is it about me that causes me to gravitate towards this behavior all the time. What am I looking for in that behavior? And then you realize that actually, no, I don't need anything from this behavior. Some other force is driving this. That's when now you learn to kick people out of your temple. You go into each and every room, you kick them out, you cleanse. Okonomu who was going through that process, I remember then she was saying you, because she couldn't believe. And she's like, no, I can't believe the filth I found in that room. What did you find? Hey, I found all kinds of nasty things, and this and that, and this and that. And I'm like, oh, but you see what behavior, and then she's like, yeah, no, I see why I'm addicted to this particular thing. It is disgusting. I'm like, yeah, clean it up. So when she took out those piles of things, she took out the pile of those things, she realized, no, actually, behind those piles of things, there are people who live there. Hence, she can't control her edges because there are entities that live there constantly drawing this energy from her. And then we come back again to the chakra system. Sometimes some of your chakras are just working uncontrollably. You have no concept, just vibrating and vibrating, pulling out energy, drawing energy from you. You're constantly feeling tired. You're constantly feeling certain edges. Abanye are constantly feeling an urge for drama because they need to produce this energy, anger, for a particular entity in themselves. This entity survives from generating a fury from you. It needs you to be constantly furious so that it can sustain itself inside you. Bese thiwa hayi akayedwa baqinisile sokungasawedwa impela. Ave neconsi. Yes. Hlezi xupha abantu wena, always angry. You need to vibrate in this energy of anger. Even abantu laba who have these mood swings is pushed into negative space all the time. There are entities that require that energy from you, and they exist inside your own body, your own spirit body. They live there as your tenants, and every time they are pushing you to behave in a certain pattern so they can consume energy. Ukuthi hey yabona namhlanje awuvuki ngabakhulumisi ke nje. Awubabuke nje namhlanje ngabakhulumisi. Hlini futhi. You see, you plunge yourself into this negative space. You understand that you're not enjoying any of this, but somehow you can't stop this behavior pattern. That's why I always talk about emotions, people. You say ukuthi hamba manje lento. Emotions are very key because they give you an indication ukuthi una maintenance in your spirit body. And they will drive you into repeating certain behaviors. I don't know what came over me. Yeah. Of course you don't know what came over you because you have something inside you that is driving. There's this particular thing that waits to figure at a certain point and then bese a strike. Akudlalwa nathi. I see people all the time thinking, hey, that's like, but akudlalwa nomuntu. So be peaceful. When you know what you are prone to anger, then learn to be peaceful. Funda ukuba nokuthula. Hlukana nokuxophana nabantu nama-mood swings and all those things. Learn to be peaceful. Be calm. You have no reason to be angry or upset. Akho need. Be joyful. Funda ukuba nenjabulo nje. Life is good. There's nothing bad about life. Yes, yes, and everything, but life is a wonderful thing. There's so much beauty in the world. So awube nenjabulo, uthokoze inside you. Be joyful. You don't need any reason to be joyful, and you don't need to go into a club with machwala in. I'll be joyful in your own space, being yourself, and be loving. Funda ukuthanda. I'm not saying to go running around trying to express love, but funda ukuthanda. Thanda abantu. Thande wena. Thande umhlaba losikuhla, thande izulu, thande inkanyezi, thande itshalo, thande ihlahla lapha hamba uhage ihlahla, hambani uhage ihlahla ngoba vele nithanda izinto ezithanda ukubukisa, nathanda ukubukisa, but yeah, there's a very deeper meaning behind the tree hugging thing. But sinenza ngokuphapha but sothini. Love, thanda. There's nothing wrong with ukuthanda. No, ukuthi abazali benu were neglecting you, so you were a victim of proximal abandonment because umami had to go to work. Akazange kubahlalise ebeleni isikhathi eside, wakhula ngamathini. Hede. Abanye bakhulisa bogogo, ababebhizi nabo behla kuleli nsimi. Hede. We know we come from a toxic background where everything that has to do with love must be displayed by external things. And we understood that no, really, actually, it doesn't mean uthi ngiyathanda. Kumele uphiwe imali, and you find that you still feel empty inside. So change that. Thanda for no reason. That's the other thing. I can't reason to love. Shouldn't be. There's no qualification. Nobody qualifies to be loved. Things must be loved because they exist. People must be loved because they exist. When you try love, your love is so conditional. There are conditions. Ngikuthanda ngoba ungipha imali. Ngikuthanda ngoba ungenza kamnandi. Ngikuthanda ngoba uyingane yami. Ngikuthanda ngoba you are there for me in no. There's a different form of love which says, no, well, we are all people. We are all people, regardless. Singabantu sonke. And it's good that you are there, you exist. It's good that I'm there. Funda ungabi nankinga namuntu. Funda ungabi nankinga. It's very important. Dedela ama-grudge. Yabona ke manje i-tenant elikhulu kakhulu ke lelo. Elinye lama-tenants eli-difficult. Dedela uba nama-grudge. Ngoba inhliziyo, you know, they always say ukuthi inhliziyo inecala iphumule, but I found ukuthi inhliziyo eyoniwe isikhathi esiningi iyona engakuthola iphumule. You are always thinking about how they did you wrong and never came to apologize. But here's a very clever tip, I think. Angazi kodwa mhlambe kanisebenzela, very clever tip efanele usebenzise. And it says, realize ukuthi umuntu emhlabeni isikhathi esiningi does not even know half of the things they're doing. They don't know where their thoughts come from. They don't know where their ideas come from. So uzohlalela ukucasukela umuntu ukuthi wakwenza ukuthi when they didn't know what they were doing in the first place. Ngisho ngakuthiwa wayazi, but they don't know actually the entire length and breadth of the thing. Uthi leyo nto ijule kangakanani, aba understand. Abantu bayazichansela nje emhlabeni Nkosi yami. Ningababambeli amaqhubu, bayazichansela. We are all just chancing through life. So I can't need to be angry and upset at someone and holding a grudge at them. And the bottom line is, you cannot be loving until you learn to forgive other people. Masuba uxolele nabanye bese sixolela nawe. You see, umuntu will be beating themselves up for mistakes they made 10, 20 years ago. You made a mistake, it was back then. You were younger, you didn't have enough information at the time. If there's somebody that you did wrong at the time, you can go back to them and tell them, hey, listen, I was wrong there. Kanga na information about life. Now I realize my fault, I'm sorry. If you can still make atonement, sure, go ahead, go and atone. I can't need to be holding these things against yourselves. It's very key, the thing. Because you see, it's very, like, you have to clean your temple. If a temple lakho lingekho clean, you are not going to be allowed with sliding door that separates this realm from the other realm. There are places in heaven that you can't go into. Masity heaven says the universe, where there are many dimensions. You can't go into the realm of the Creator. It's shy, because those two years that are usually depicted as having Amakandi Zinja. Let me try and pull them up here. There's ayithunywe embili abahluleli. That's what I call them. Always behamba nga-2. Laba ibona abagadayo ukuthi kahle kahle ukufanele yini to cross certain realms, uyakwazi ukungena ezindimeni ezithile zikaNdimankulu. They are very particular about to enter us, ngoba akusiyena noma ubani ozongena nje, akusiwa gogweni. So kungena abantu who are in a proper space. Now, laba bazokuthatha ke bayokala ke. Let's see if we have it here. Bring it up. Ngifuna sibambe clarity yonke lento ngoba I realize what people are hearing me but they're not listening. Bese bebuya la bezofuna ama solutions. Kepha ngiqale nje ngayikhuluma kahle indaba solution from top to bottom. Ngayikhumula into yaze abanqunu kodwa safaka benze uchaza. See these ones here. Abo Anubius. Let's take this image into heart. It's very important, this image. Yabola, you have a feather, and then on the other side you have your heart. Inhliziyo yakho, where figuratively it means ithempeli ngaphakathi, if you can read this, then you can see but yeah, so inhliziyo yakho, which is basically your temple, iyabekwa against a feather, and it must balance. And this is a requirement for you to proceed into other dimensions of there. Angeke ke uvumeleke ukuthi ungene endaweni ezithile, ngoba ayithi yakhumbula ngasho ukuthi abantu ba-strike abaphoswa la emhlabeni abathile, and abasoze bavunyelwe ukuthi bangene until bezithobe. Wena uzongena kanjani-ke uphethe amagqubu, inzondo, all this kind of nasty things, uphethe ukwazi ukuhlulela, unama-resentments, usayibambele ukuthi yazi ngangcola, still feeling sorry for yourself for something you did 16,000 years ago. Awunanjabulo, awunakuthula ngaphakathi kwena, uyaxokozela, uhleli nje nama-tenants. So it makes sense that they have to make sure ukuthi inhliziyo yakhe light, so that you don't bring in ama-hitchhikers to the realm of the Creator. Ngoba bafuneki lapho, uzo-hitchhiker, bazo-hitchhiker ngawe phela. If kwakuthiwa kuvulekile nje kungena wonke umuntu, usho ukuthi ama-entity lawa azongenela kwena, bavele ba-hitchhike ngawe, bathwele la spirit body sakho. So it's very vital that you must cleanse your spirit body by letting go of all these negative things that you are imposing upon yourself. Uzenza ngamabomu. Noma hlezi ngisho ukuthi sana ukustressa kangaka. Sana ukustress. Chill. If you know what you need to do in life, then do it. There's no need to stress about it. Just chill. Life will continue anyway. So be loving. Inhliziyo yakho mayibe lula njengengane, ingahlali izinto ezingcolile. Must be pure of heart. That's what I'm trying to say all the time. And iyona le ndlela ezokusiza ukuthi ukwazi to tap into your powers, tap into your abilities, tap into your talents, tap into the power of the universe. Ukwazi ukufinyelela into the realms of the Creator and other places of there. I've said it many times. I've gone to places, ngafica sekumile utshani obude, ngaqala phansi ngabhusha. You will go there, you will find those parts. Because there are things that need to be done in all the spaces. I'm not going to be the one doing everything. So abantu abakhulula inhliziyo zabo sibemsulwa. Khulula inhliziyo. Thobekani within the self. Ngaphakathi, thobeka ngaphakathi. Be peaceful. Be joyful. Be loving. It's not rocket science. It's something you have to do. Hauna choice. If you say you want to be a spiritual person, you want to be empowered spiritually, you want to understand you spiritually, indlela yasemkhizaneni ithi be peaceful, be joyful, be loving. And masokufuna lama requirements for you to move around in other dimensions of there. Ongundima nkulu izindima zakhe ukuvimbela ukuthi ungene kuzona until you are as he made you. Akazanga ku-create udale unazo zonke lezi zinto ozithwele. Khipha amatshe emakhukhwini walahle phansi. Khipha amatshe awana amagabadi, khipha. It's very simple. And you know, it's also very challenging because we live in a very noisy world. La sihlezi singquzulana emotionally. break up nyese break up ungakwazi ngisho ucabanga for months. It should tell you ukuthi you are not as loving as you think you were. Ngoba isikhathi esiningi into eshaya abantu about these breakups is that they feel like something was taken from them. If you feel like something was taken from you, then that means ukuthi wena ubucupha umuntu ubushaye exchange. Wangayithola into ade ucabanga ukuthi uzoyithola. Manje you are angry, you are sad, you are crying in your bed. So be loving, and that means you must own your love. Own your love. Olwakho doesn't belong to the other person. Awutshelekise ngalo, lukhona lukuwe, aliphumi, just lukhona. And you'll be able to do ukuthanda abantu ngoba ubathanda nje, not because you need something from them. I said earlier, no one qualifies to be loved. Even yourself, you don't qualify. But it's a choice that people must make to love each other. Choose to love. Because you see, it's the other thing that I learned to you'll be disappointed so much. Uzogcina usufuna ukushintsha who you are. And that's not the way. The moment you change something, you change yourself into becoming less than what you used to be, the more tenants you're going to get. Your heart becomes heavier than it was yesterday. So khululani izinhliziyo. Got sikhuluma acceptance the other time. Today we're talking about being peaceful, being joyful, and being loving. There are other people who are more articulate on this topic, by the way. I know, but uxelela ku YouTube abantu who are very articulate. Bakwazi ukukhuluma kahle kamnandi lento izwakale. And I'm saying okay, ngoba senizwile kubo bonke labantu labo osadguru obanibani. Nayi la isebenza khona. Put it to work. If you claim that you want to be spiritual, then put it to work. Angabi nje rhetoric emnandi ndokubhizi uthe iyazi ukukhuluma kamnandi. No, I don't have time for that. Get to work, put it to work. Ngitshela ukuthi isebenza kuphi kanjani ngoba ngifuna ukuthi uyisebenzise, not ukuthi uhlobise ngayo. Go cleanse your temple. Hamba uyogeza itemple lakho ukuze uxhumane nongumdali. Dinge ama prayers la. Ngeke uthandazele ukuthi itemple lakho libe clean. Ngeke ulichathele ngathi you have to do the conscious work of becoming peaceful, becoming joyful, becoming loving. Uzothi mawufika lapha kubahluleli uthi nansi inhliziyo yami ayikalo, isikali sitha showcase. Because ngeke ubadide. Uma uyajaza ngongena esikalini angihlekanga kwaqhoma isikali sanqamuka. Antazi ifeda ishona le phezulu. That's how heavy that heart was. Even to this day, they haven't come out of the thing. Basazab. And it's a long process. And then it takes us back to the other video where I was talking about Uti. You need to be patient with yourself as well. There's another form of loving yourself. It's very important. But you need to be patient. You need to know Uti, the work that you are putting in is going to pay off. You have to have tenacity. Be consistent at working on yourself. Every day you're working on yourself. You're working on your spiritual growth. You're working on being peaceful, being joyful, and being loving. End of story.